the name is Brandon Groce. And we are the Game Changers. Designers, creatives alike. We are in a world that runs on value. Our next designs will be the shiniest. Our next animation will be the most buttery. Ladies and gentlemen, Game Changers, let the games begin.
What is going on, Editor X Live? Welcome back to another session with your boy Brandon Groce. I'm super excited to have you guys here. Today we are working on responsive web design in Editor X. The other things that we have done on this channel or really what we try to do on this channel is try to pick very specific things that you guys are having challenges with and trying to tackle those any bitty challenges one step at a time. So today, unlike all the other challenges, or like we try to do, is have one dedicated day of 30 minutes to show you guys how to go from desktop to tablet to mobile and how to think about these things utilizing grids, fixed widths, fluid widths, and all those things, because those are basically the bread and butter of Editor X. So with that said, I do want to say hello to the live chat. What's going on, Dimma, JT? Good to have you guys here, as well as those who are watching the replay of this. Now, a reminder, if you are new to Editor X is an amazing free platform that allows you to create responsive websites in very short periods of time. So with that said, we're going to go ahead. If you want to sign up for Editor X for free, you guys can check the link down in the description. And you can also, what we're about to move into now is what we're going to create. And you guys can download these starter files for the project in the link down below as well. So let's go ahead and move to my screen. So this is what you will find in the description down below for our Dropbox file. You will find all of the individual assets, and you will find the Adobe XD file version as well. So this is everything that you need to create what we're going to be creating today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty. I've already started to put some of this together in Editor X. So far, I've put just a little bit of our menu together, our background, and we've created a pinned menu. So let me just go over what we kind of have already, and that way to just jumpstart you, and then we'll start getting into the easy things. So far, I have imported our logo as an image. I have entered in all of our menu pages here simply by adding new pages. In this section here within Editor X, simply click Pages, click the plus icon, and add the pages that you want to your heart's content. What's going on, Kimberly? Welcome to the live chat. Glad to see you here as well. So, all right. And the final two things that we did here are, one, we went into our header here, and we have changed the position type to pinned from default, and we have selected overlap next section. So if we were opening up a new page, which you guys probably will be, your menu will look like this, and all you need to do is go to position type, pinned, and make sure you click the overlap section so we get that nice transparent header over top of our main section here. Now let's move into our section. What we've done here is we have our section selected, and we just went to our design section here in our inspector. We've clicked our media page here, and all we did is we selected the background asset for this. I don't think I've named it background, but basically we've uploaded all of our media already to Editor X, as you guys can see here. Here's just a few things, and we have just selected this media for the background. So that's kind of where we're at so far. Let's move into what is next. All right, so up next, let's go ahead and take a peek at where we need to go. And there is no one right way of doing this, guys. Like, that's what I want to stress. There is probably all of you guys who are going to do this or follow along with me. There might be different ways that you guys approach this. Might be better than mine, but I'm going to show you guys what is, I think, works well for me. And by the way, if you guys haven't already, you want to join our Discord down in the description. It's an amazing place where a community of like-minded individuals like those of you guys watching and all around the world who are creating amazing things in EditorX, trying to learn and upskill in EditorX and just learn how to create cool and amazing things from like-minded people. And also, it is a place where you can ask questions to your heart's content, and we try to get to answering your question as quickly as possible and or giving feedback. I know, JT, you're thinking of me in that particular because I have some feedback to give to you today. All right, so what we're gonna do here and how I want to start this is I kind of want to try this maybe out by doing 3 grids in our section. And of course, we don't have to be stuck with this. This is just something that we think, based on what we have here, might help us or might work for us. So I basically went to creating a layout, a grid layout, and I did a 1x3. And I'm just going to give a section for each, or not a section, basically a grid for each line of content. Because essentially we have sell, and then we have an image, we have discover, then another line we have collect, image, win, and then we also have image, real rewards, and this here as well. So there's a couple ways we could build this, right? We might do 1 container, 2 containers, 3 containers. And then maybe we stack all of these, right? There's a couple, that's kind of how I'm thinking about it so far, but we'll see how far we get. So let's go ahead and start getting those things in. So I'm gonna right click, I'm gonna quick add a title. I'm gonna get cell. And I am going to give this a heading of H1. I'm gonna set this to white. And I'm also gonna set this to Wix bold. Maybe extra bold for right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this heading here and I'm going to update theme, apply, so that all the other words that I create in that H1 are exactly of this style. So up next, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I am going to pull in our image of our abstract shape, just like this, update, boom, cogwheel, reset image, perfect. I'm gonna scale this. My first priority is just to get everything into the viewport. So we have sell, we have discover. And for those of you wondering how I duplicated that, I very simply just pressed Control V, or Control D rather. And that will duplicate your asset. Let me go to my layers here really quickly. And let me grab the section, grab discover, and let me use my arrow keys to pull this down. Because for some reason, well, not for some reason, the menu is in the way. So sell, discover, and we're basically just going to duplicate all of this content to the next row. Control D, pull it down. So now we have, what is this? Collect. Collect. Give that space. Win. And we are going to duplicate these again. Control D. And of course, I'll organize these once we have everything in there. We're going to move this over here. And I'm going to delete this, and we will just do real rewards. Rewards. Hey, what's going on, Gabriel? Welcome to the live chat. Glad to see you here. And by the way, excellent job to Kimberly and Gabriel for their amazing submissions in the Discord. I can't wait to check those out towards the end of our stream here. So now I'm just going to change the assets that we have here. We're going to take this pill and we are going to that pill shape, and then we're also going to take this as well. And we're going to make sure that we use our cogwheel to reset the images. So it is our proper aspect ratio. Here and here. Boop, 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 boop. Guys, my shoulder is acting up today. You know what I'm saying? The metaverse got me a little sick here. Thank you guys for your patience there. Hope it's not too distracting. All right, so we reset that. Boom, and we're gonna scale this down. And now we can start doing some of our orchestration. So what should we do first? I think, and guys, I'm kind of like thinking this through with you, because there are, even if I solidify a good way of producing this, you know, there might be always a better way of doing this. And so that's kind of the really cool thing about EditorX, is that one way is not always the best. There's tons of ways that other people can constantly teach you of how to do something a little bit more optimized and a little bit quicker. So I'm gonna just horizontally align all of this content that I've brought onto my screen here. Just selecting them, holding shift, and using my alignment tools to horizontally align them. And I think next what I'm gonna go ahead and do is basically select all of them in each row, and by holding shift and placing them in a container. Shift, place in container. And I am going to again use my alignment tools to center all of these containers to my viewport here. Perfect. All right. And now maybe what I want to do is I can make these all the same size. So maybe what I want to do is all of the width, maybe we set them to 50%. Maybe we'll play around with this. 50%. So at least they're all the same width. And we might need to mess around with some of the sizing of these things too. Let's see. I'm gonna bring this over here. All right, that's 50%. Container, 50%. Okay. Recenter all these puppies. All right. Okay. So we have one final thing to do, and that is this. If I go back to my Adobe XD, we have a little bit of a paragraph here, and then we have this button, and then we can go into responsive. Now for this paragraph, I think all I'm going to do is I'm going to just go into this container, right click, quick add a paragraph. I'm going to edit this and just change this to white with our theme colors, and I'm going to set the font size to about 14. And we're going to pull this right here on the right hand side of our container. And we don't care that it's lorem ipsum. We're just going to take the first sentence and delete everything else. Perfect. Make sure that's docked to the left hand or the right hand side of our container, and we are good to go. We might turn this down a little bit. Let's go back to our color, and we might get some gray in there. Okay. So next, let's go ahead and get our circle. And I might pull some of this stuff up. So I'm going to go ahead, bring this section up just a little bit. This section up just a little bit, giving us more room. And I'm going to pull this down just a little bit. Okay. So now let's go ahead and get our play button. So I'm going to go ahead and go to section, right click, quick add, and we are going to grab an image. Change image. And we're gonna grab our group 33. Okay, guys? And yes, if left to your own devices, use SVGs, not PNGs, guys. So, not change image. We're going to just reset this image so I can scale this to the size that I want, which is pretty small. And I'm going to align it to all of our 50% containers here. And from here, I am just going to add that small, I'm going to duplicate this paragraph here, just Control D or Command D if you're on a Mac. And I am going to use the words I want to start. This will be our CTA, And I'm gonna make this a little bit darker. I don't want it to be too showy. I want the CTA to be way more visible than what we have here. Boom. Right line. Guys, my shoulder is really, it's pushing in. It's like, I'm trying to wake it up. Come on, Rex. Let's go. Now my knee wants to say hello. All right, so I'm gonna edit text. Bold this. I'm gonna scale this up to maybe 16. And pull this right into my play button here. I'm gonna place, by selecting both, I'm gonna place in container, and I can scale these if I want to. I'm just gonna make it a tad bigger. And we are going to actually add one more row here. I'm gonna change grid layout by selecting again my section. I'm gonna add one more. I'm gonna click the plus button here by adding a row, hit done. I'm gonna pull this up. And what we are gonna do is we're gonna take this container and pull it right down here, just like that. So now that we're pretty nice and organized, we have 3 containers, or rather 4 containers that are organized in nice rows. And now this gives us some nice hierarchy to go ahead and play with when it comes to making things responsive. So first off, let's go ahead and just do, and guys, do not be afraid. Like, this is the first thing that people are like so scared of when they open up EditorX and they finally start getting responsive, is when they hit the tablet, they're like, everything is broken. Guys, it looks scary, but it is not crazy to fix. I'll show you how to do all of this. So first off, I'm gonna go to my containers here, 50%, okay, cool. I also want to make sure that, all right, I think we're good. So what I'm gonna do here first is I'm gonna select my container, or my main section. I'm gonna go to the grids here. First off, the height, I didn't tell you guys this in the beginning, but the height of the first section is 100 VH. This is our first challenge here. We need to make this larger because everything is like scrunched. So first thing, I'm just gonna give me a ton of space. I'm gonna set this to 2000 pixels rather than VH. Next, I am going to work on the logo. I'm just gonna scale this up. Center it horizontally. I'm gonna make the hamburger a white menu so we can actually see that. And now let's mess with our first container. First, what we're gonna do is we are gonna set this from 50% to 100. See what that looks like. Ooh, that was 10. 100, Brandon. There we go. And now what we're gonna do is what we actually, again, you could do this in a couple ways. I'm gonna attempt to do it in one. So we can change the text size on each individual breakpoint if we desire, or we can do everything on the desktop. We literally can go to text and say, hey, scale text. The biggest I want this is 88 pixels, which is where we're starting on this, but the smallest I want this is 25 pixels. So that when we get here, it kind of already auto scales for us. And this is kind of what we need to decide. What is the smallest text that we want to have for these words that we have? That's kind of what we have to figure out, and that's kind of a testing ground. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do, let's try 35 for now. And I am going to upgrade the heading theme so it applies to all of the words that we have. So all of them should be now scalable. I'm gonna refresh EditorX just in case we run into any issues or all of the text didn't, upgrade or update for whatever reason. All right, now let's check this. I'm gonna just click on Discover, go to Edit Text. It should have the, oh, it does not. Okay, let's see, heading 1. I'm just going to swap these very quickly. This is the same issue that we kind of had yesterday where, or maybe the text doesn't take this into account, but let me see. Update theme, apply, edit text. Huh, I guess it doesn't carry over. So I guess we're gonna have to do this for all the text here. So we're gonna do 88. We're gonna do 35, and we're just gonna do this for all of our text here. Edit text, 88. I'm gonna have to check with the editor X team because it would be so easy for it to just memorize with all of the settings that we have in the text style. So 88, 35, and one last time. 88, 35. All right, so now let's see what happens here. So I'm gonna go back to our tablet and let's look. So these things are pretty, let's make these containers. Let's make them all 100% and see what we're working with. 100%, 100%. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna align everything. I'm just gonna select everything in these containers. Horizontal align, boom, just like we did in the beginning. If you really wanted to be super clean and organized, what you could do in the beginning is give each one of these containers their own grids. And basically, what I would do is I would give 3 grids for each one of these containers so that this asset stays in its corner, this text stays in the middle, and this text stays to the right. And I would do that for each one of these containers. But, you know, that's another way to have control. You can also do it this way as well. All right, so we're gonna push this to the top of that section. And I'm gonna grab this. We're gonna push this to the top, left align, and we are going to reduce this. Okay. We're gonna click on we're gonna reduce this to about, let's go back to 100 VH and see what we're working with now. 100 VH kind of works. We're gonna change our grid layout here, go to advanced and try to move these things around. Let's see, we have, I want maybe to have this at a percentage. We'll do 25%. And just visually scale it. Here. We'll do another 25%. And we'll visually scale it. We'll give this another 25%. And we'll visually scale it. So right about here. Right about here. And this other, you know, we don't really care what this is. This can be whatever it wants to be. I'm gonna click done. I'm gonna fix this container, pull it out. There we go. All right. And going back to aligning everything horizontally, and then I'll fix exactly where I want things to be. So I'm gonna center this, center this, center this. So right now I'm just pulling and pushing things where I want them to be in our containers. Right about here. Pull this in. And try to, this is kind of like, just like in any design visual, you know, program, this is kind of where I'm eyeballing things, where I would like things positioned. There we go. That looks good to me. There we go, and there we go. So out of curiosity, I would love to know, out of those who are watching live, was this daunting? Have you guys, does this kind of, now if we go to desktop, tablet, now mobile, we're gonna do the same thing. Now this shows me that 35 pixels is, it's a little too big when it comes to the mobile breakpoint. So we might need to reduce this a little bit more, but that's totally fine. We can do it specifically for mobile. For tablet, the 35 is fine. But for this, we'll drop it to about 20, see how that plays out. But, going back to the question I was asking, does the showcase of kind of how this works and how not scary this process has to be, is that helpful? Is this something that you guys struggle with when it comes to creating the responsive versions of your websites? So again, making these, boom. I think I'm going to set this to 25 versus 20. There we go. Center these yet again horizontally. The container, what I could do if I want to be lazy is, rather than the width be 100%, let me see if I can do max content. And it's probably not what I want, because then it squeezes things. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I'm going to undo that. And again, I'm just going to use my arrow keys to just center things how I deem is appropriate. So, all right, that looks good to me. I'm going to edit this. We're going to do 25. 25. Scale this to where I want. Select all of these. Boom, boom, boom. Center. And then just visually place this. You know what I want to try? I didn't try this before. Let me do an auto width. Let me see what that does. Or 100%. Let's do the height auto. Okay. Just trying some different ways, guys. Boom. And da-da-da. Selecting these. This looks good to me. And I'm going to do something a little bit different with these last two lines here. Rather than having it next, I'm going to have it literally right underneath, just like this. And I'm going to make this section just a little bit larger to give us some room here. Okay. Make this container just a little bit larger as well. Boom. All right. Now all I need to do is, again, I'm going to click my section, change grid layout, advanced, and let's play. All right. I am going to just move these visually how I want them to be. Does everything have enough space? Do things need to be closer together? Just eyeballing things. Nothing too crazy. Taking my container, just dragging this out. It needs more breathing room, just like that. Now I can take these containers, scale them to the size of my text, use my arrow keys to pull them down, or just use my alignment tools. Boom, drop it to that line. Container, and pull this up. Squeeze it to okay, that looks good. I'm going to center these. These look a little bit off. There we go. And if I really wanted to, I can apply a grid in this container here to really just make sure that things stay where they want to be, or where I want them to be. I'm going to do a 1x2 so that we can separate the content here and the content here. So this stays right down there. Pull this up. We don't need all that space down there. pull this container up, set the height to 100% so it stays in that section. And do the same for this. It's just making sure the containers are where they should be and aren't going into places that they shouldn't. I'm going to center this here. What I could do, and I'm almost a little scared to do this, I haven't tried this, maybe I want to place this in a container. I'm a little scared to add another parent into this because it makes this a little bit, a little funky. But we'll see what this changes for us. But the reason I'm doing it is so I can center this content here a little bit easier in this other container. Here we go. Advance, nope. Change grid layout, advanced mode. I'm gonna pull this up, there we go. Very nice. All right. And I'm gonna pull this last section up, just like this. Maybe it doesn't need all that room. Oh shit, oh excuse me. Pardon my French, okay. I'll pull this right in here. And I think this looks about good for us, guys. So let's see what happens when we, okay, we're gonna change this to 25. It's still 35. Perfect. It looked a little big to me. And just gonna use my arrow keys to push these up. All right. Okay. So let's take a look. And guys, this is just the beginning, right? So we have our tablet and it looks, I can continuously go back and forth and move things. The next step, the refinement step from this, ladies and gentlemen, is looking at what happens when you start pushing and pulling the website. So let's take a look. And from this is where we start to make our refinements, okay? Or our detailed refinements. So we're gonna start scaling this puppy down. And now we can see where some things break and really where we don't like certain things to happen. So this is, let's just look what happens. So we're looking at things break, we look at things break. Okay, and right at, this is at 1000 pixels, this is when it goes to the next breakpoint, which looks fine. So really what this tells us, okay, well we need to fix the fluidness of our text before it gets to 1000 pixels. Okay, let's go back to the tablet and let's look at how things break when it goes to mobile. Breaks immediately, okay? So boom, 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 boom. And then at 320, we're fine. All right, so let's play with this. So what I want to do here, let us go to, what if we did, what if we started with 35 right here? This is kind of where we want to play around. So let's go back to this. This is 88. All right, what is this? This is immediately mobile 750. All right, let's see what we can do to fix this. So the text, oh, here it is. The text starts at 88. We don't want that. We want this to start at 35. There we go. Let's go ahead and just edit that. That is our first problem. 35. So that the text scaling starts at 35 and goes down to 25 versus starting at 88. So this is where we start to get diagnosing, ladies and gentlemen. You see how it's kind of fixing itself here? This is how we have to think. There's 3 stages: desktop, mobile, tablet. And then we have, once we start squeezing the screens, what behavior do we need to start building in? And I want this to be, I'm gonna switch this here. I'm gonna set this to fixed. I'm setting my play button to fixed because I do not want it to scale. And I don't want my want to start to scale either. I'm gonna keep it at 114 pixels. I'm gonna scale my logo just like that. Okay, let's go back to 750 so we can fix the breaks, which is right here. Okay. We are going to set, rather than fixed, or rather than fluid, we're gonna set this to fixed, okay? And we want the fixed to be 150. We're gonna set this to fixed, 215 pixels. Same thing with this. We're gonna scale this down to just the sole cell. Set it to fixed. Move these things back into place. Center, center, center. Should there be side grids or no? Kimberly, there should be, and you can. Well, the answer is not should. If you know what you're going to be producing on, if you know what you're going to be producing and you feel comfortable that is the best way to constrain things, yes. That's kind of what I was saying earlier. Like if you really wanted to keep things nice and controlled, I would have 3 grids or 3 rows within each container so that things stay where they are. But I'm doing it, this is not a wrong way. This is it's just a different way. But would I have done the grids to save a little bit more time? Yes, but I didn't know this is how things were gonna end up. All right. So we're gonna scale this down. We're gonna set this to fixed. And let me see here. We might set our containers to 100. Boom, boom. I'm gonna set this to fluid. But this is where, guys, there's no right or wrong answer. Like what I'm doing here, you will need to do with every website that you produce. Like there is no section sides. Kimberly, I am at a loss at what you mean by sides. I'm assuming maybe padding. But this whole portion in which I am checking to see what is the behavior of what it is that I am making, that is natural. That's what developers have to do when they're producing websites. They have to see, okay, my designer wants this. What happens when I build this? I've got it on desktop, mobile, tablet. But if if we start changing screen widths, what is the behavior of these things? Okay. Container, boom, boom, boom. Okay. All right, let's see what happens. Okay, discover, yes, okay. So this is where I would say, this is where we need grids. I'm gonna do a 3x1. Cell, you're gonna stay there. Discover, you're gonna stay over here. Because I don't want things to run into each other. Boom. All right, let's start with that. Okay. And now what I can say here is I can say, all right, well, you thing in the center, just stay 100% there. Width 100%. Maybe 90. We'll do 90 here. 90%. I'm going to left align this text. Boom. So this, Kimberly, this is kind of what you were talking about here. Should you use grids? And now I'm going to scooch this stuff over. Boom, like this, so the Discover does not get slapped, kind of like broken early. Give it some space. All right, the Discover's looking good. All right. We're gonna get it even more space. Like this. We're gonna center it in its spots. Boom, boom, and boom. And we're gonna kind of do the same thing for all of these things here. Right click in our container. 3x1. Left align. Boom, we're gonna set this to 100% of that container. I'm gonna set this to 100% of this container. And when we are gonna set to 100% of this container. Center, center, center. And one more time here, change grid layout. We're gonna do a, we'll add another column here. I'm gonna just pull this over. Bring real rewards over here. Pull this over. Scale this. Make real rewards 100%. I see that you're docking to the sides of the section, but would it be good to put grids on the side of the section? I mean, you totally can. The answer, yes. If that's what works for you and that's the way that you want to produce the outcome that you want, totally can. The outcome of what I'm doing in terms of docking and all that stuff, if you want to use grids for spacing versus padding, more power to you. And then there is I'm trying to select this little text that we have, or this image here. So I'm going to select this image, make this 100%. There we go. Scale this. I'm going to center it in that little box. Center this. Okay. And I am going to, there we go. Left align this text. I'll maybe scale this down a little bit more. There we go. And let's see. Change grid. I want to move this stuff up just a little bit. These things. So I'm going to use my arrow keys, push this up right about maybe there. Let's see. I do want to select this specific section right here. That's the container. Boop, boop. All right, change grid layout, advance. I'm just gonna pull this here. This is a little bit easier. Right there. It kept selecting the section, which is not what I wanted. Boom, boom. And I might left align this too, just to see what or right align, see what it looks like. Dun, dun, dun. And I guess, Kimberly, this is essentially what you were asking. Can you do padding on the left and right to make sure that the padding on the left and right is the same? You can do that as well. And you're like, there is going to be micro adjustments that we're going to need to really get these exactly where we want. But for right now, this is going to be as good as we get for the time that we have, because I do know that we're a little bit over as of now. So I'm going to pull these here. Pull our container down. Like the first 15 minutes of this, guys, was probably all you need to know. The rest of what I'm doing is the nitpicky things that all designers do when it comes to their work. So there is no more or less that you guys need to know. It's just constantly using those tools and principles that we essentially used in the first 15 minutes of this to produce exactly what I am trying to do here. All right, so let's take a look. So now that you guys can see, there's a few things here. So now we can see things get a little out of hand right around here, 750. So what I could do to be really cheap, I can go back in here and refine some of these things, right? Let me pull this down. Let me set this to let's set this to 50. All right, it overlaps at right around here at 5.9 width. What I could do here is I can go to these three buttons and I can switch this 750 rather than this. I can go to 590, set it to 590. So right when we have that problem, right when we get that overlap, it will shoot automatically to tablet. And again, we would do the exact same things that we solved for from 320 pixels all the way to 790. We would do the exact same responsivity from the very smallest tablet breakpoint right here, all the way to where it is perfect at 1000. So guys, that is the process. Rinse and repeat over and over again until you have a website that behaves the way that you want. So in 30 minutes, those are the skill sets that you need. We probably need about 15 minutes of me not talking and really getting in there, and also a little bit of maybe 5 minutes of anal retentiveness to get exactly what I want to have this behave. But again, to reiterate, processes: desktop, mobile, or excuse me, desktop, tablet, mobile. Then you start stretching your website, seeing how things behave. Just like we did with this. We didn't like certain behavior, so we're like, how can we control the behavior? Like Kimberly said, grids. We added different grids. We started to constrain different percentages, different fixed widths, and now we have the entire mobile portion of the site nice and responsive. I would probably fix this right here. I don't want the width to basically expand like that. So what I would do, again, I want it to be max this, set it to fixed. Now it will always stay, let's just do mobile. It will always stay just like that. So guys, this is all you need to know for responsivity. Remember, build out your desktop, tablet, mobile, then start constraining behavior with grids, other padding, docking, and then fixed or fluid. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for hanging out. I do want to showcase the people's work that submitted their work in Discord, and then I will see you guys on the next one, and hopefully some other videos in our on our channel. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the submissions for today. Let me see. Let's go to the challenges, and we have Gabriel, and let me pop open Kim's. All right, let's take a look at this. I'm going to switch to my screen very quickly. Ooh, we need to reset those animations. First, we have Gabriel, excellent with the donut. I believe this was yesterday's project, his iteration. Excellent job, my friend. I love the donuts, love the inspiration and the liberty in which you took to make this custom and make it your own. Now, to go back to Kimberly's, I want to set that was beautiful. Let's refresh that again. I love the way that this kind of came in. Ooh, we even have some hover interactions. Ooh, yes, that's delicious right there. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today. Guys, do not forget, also, when you are done with your website, I will complete this website, make it fully responsive, and I will drop it into the challenge so you guys can see what it is, what the full responsive website should look like. But if you guys want to get ahead of me, which, this will be done in a few minutes, but all you need to do is go to our Discord, which is linked down in the description, go to our challenge section and add your name, the challenge number, which today is number 3, and the URL for your website, which you will get when you publish your site, and you can name it whatever you wish. Oh wait, there's another, hold on. Oops. Ooh, let's not go to mobile. But this breakpoint looking pretty good. It's really well done. I like how you condensed everything. But ladies and gentlemen, Kimberly, if you want to dive more into this, we can offline. But I gotta jump. I gotta keep the show short for those who are watching the replay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out, and I will see you on the next video. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Peace. Dope responsive website.